be sure to comment, subscribe, and click the notifications bell.
1, 2, 3.
Hey, what's up guys? JD Venom here, part of Venom Nation Wrestling, and this is another video in the top 10 series, becoming a weekly tradition here every Saturday here for this channel. And this week is the top 10 most forgetful Intercontinental champions of all time. There's been some great Intercontinental champions that we've known and that we grew up with, such as Shawn Michaels, the British Bulldog, Razor Ramon, Diesel, Triple H, Chris Jericho, Shelton Benjamin. Great Intercontinental champions in the past in the WWF/WWE. With that being said, though, there's been a lot of Intercontinental champions out there. There's been a complete handful that either were just not fit to be the Intercontinental champion, or we just totally forgot about it. And this is what it is here today for the top 10 most forgetful Intercontinental champions of all time. Before we begin here, be sure to leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, and like the Facebook page, where both links are down below. Tell your friends and family to come and join the JD Venom Nation on YouTube. Daily wrestling content here on this channel, 7 days a week. Go check out the Game Over podcast from this yesterday, actually. And I was actually talking about Jim Ross wanting to commentate, the Lesnar-Joe match at Great Balls of Fire. Also, as well, go check out my Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and NXT reviews. Also, as well, I do video games on this channel as well. Daily content for video games. Later on today, I will be doing maybe 2 live streams. One for Call of Duty and another one for Friday the 13th. Really into Friday the 13th right now. I think it's a pretty fun game, despite the servers, of course, if you guys already know about that. But instead of that, the game's been pretty good. But outside of that, guys, I have nothing else for you guys other than getting to this top 10 list for you today. And leave your top 10 down below. We'd love to hear what your top 10 is for the most forgetful Intercontinental champions of all time. And we're going to be starting off at number 10. Number 10 for me is a guy who's a son, actually, I should say, of a former Intercontinental champion, of one of the best Intercontinental champions of all time. You could probably put me in your top 3. You know what I mean? And this guy here had all the potential in the world. Now, he's still under contract with WWE. I mean, we've seen Jinder Mahal become the WWE champion out of nowhere. Not to say that this guy will become WWE champion out of nowhere, but hell, if Jinder Mahal could win and, climb up from the lowest depths of WWE hell, this guy can at least get another Intercontinental Championship ring. And I am talking about Curtis Axel. Yes, Curtis Axel. And, he was a Paul Heyman guy. If you guys remember, Curtis Axel was actually a Paul Heyman guy at first when he won the Intercontinental Championship. Now, he won this back in 2013, in the summer of 2013. And he won the title from Wade Barrett. He won the title from Wade Barrett at the time. And basically here, it was a triple threat match. It was also involving The Miz as well. And pretty much he won it at WWE Payback. I think that was the first Payback in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was. But be that as it may, though, he was the champion for 155 days. Who remembers this title reign? I certainly don't. I certainly don't. You know what I mean? Not at all. Because what WWE has done since then to Curtis Axel, a great talent. He is the son of Mr. fucking Perfect, Kurt Hennig. And you can't find a spot for this guy. You cannot find a spot for this guy at all. Doesn't seem like he gets in trouble. He never got in trouble for the wellness policy. Although there are some guys who got in trouble for the wellness policy are still, I won't say being pushed heavily, but they still are being pushed more than Curtis Axel. Well, some people may remember the title reign because it is recent. It's within the past 4 years. I mean, you know what I mean? So it's definitely something that people may remember recently. But after, once this video is uploaded for a couple years, you go back and watch the video, you're like, oh, yeah, he was champion? So, yeah. So, Curtis Axel. the son of Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, comes in at number 10 as one of the top 10 Forgetful Intercontinental champions of all time. Coming in at number 9 is another recent champion. And this actually happens after Axel wins the Intercontinental Championship in 2013. This happened in 2014. And this title reign was less than a month. And recently, I saw a match from him yes, it was at a TLC, Table, Ladders, and Chairs, where he lost the Intercontinental Championship. I was like, oh my god, he was champion going to this. And they actually put on a fucking great title match for the ladder match. This was actually, you know, one of the few good matches on that show. And Luke Harper is on number 9 here for our top 10 most forgetful IC champions of all time. He only held the title for less than a month. It was 27 days, okay? He won the title from Dolph Ziggler, and he lost the title back to Dolph Ziggler at TLC 2014. I don't remember this title reign at all. I do not. I mean, I just don't. I don't remember him becoming Intercontinental champion. I was thinking, oh, maybe he was US champion. But no, he was Intercontinental champion. And very forgetful. I mean, and ever since then, Luke Harper, he's been on SmackDown. Out of the 3 members of the Wyatt family, of him, and I'm not including Bray Wyatt in here, of him, Strowman, and Eric Rowan, it seems like Luke Harper is the second most over, and Rowan is beating fucking Luke Harper. Rowan is clearly not the most over. He's clearly the least talented out of all 3 members of the Wyatt family. And, you know, it's just a shame that, you know, fucking Eric Rowan is being Luke Harper, and Luke Harper's being Eric Rowan on, you know, on fucking at Backlash when they're doing 50-50 booking. And they're not even utilizing this guy. They're not even utilizing these guys at all, especially Luke Harper. Luke Harper is a great in-ring performer. This guy could go for his size. He puts on great matches. The fans were over when Luke Harper, had a shot to become not necessarily number 1 contender, but to get in to the WrestleMania WWE Championship match. Fans were chanting, Luke, 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 Luke. The whole crowd was chanting Luke. But WWE put a stop to that. You're not going to get over. You're not going to get over in WWE, it looks like. Well, he is on SmackDown, and Jinder Mahal is on SmackDown. And it looks like to me that anybody could be fucking WWE champion. So, you know, who knows? Maybe Luke Harper will become WWE champion. We don't fucking know. You know, if Jinder Mahal could become WWE champion, anybody can. Anybody can at this point in time. But Luke Harper, 27-day reign Intercontinental champion, comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 is a very popular Attitude Era wrestler. And actually, this guy here had a very, very short Intercontinental Championship reign. It was so short that it didn't even last 3 weeks. It only lasts 2 weeks. And he defeated Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit, who you can say about Chris Benoit. I mean, a fucking killer. You know what I mean? You can say whatever you want about Chris Benoit. But whatever. He beat Chris Benoit to win the Intercontinental Championship. And I totally forgot that he was the Intercontinental Champion. I remember he was a tag team champion. Don't remember his IC title reign. And this was in the mix of the Attitude Era where everybody was just, you know, hot battling titles back and forth. And that is Rikishi. Rikishi won the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown in the middle of summer in the year 2000. He beats Chris Benoit, and he only had the title for fucking 14 days. He only held the title for 14 days, and he lost it to a man who's also maybe forgetful, but I kind of remember him more a little bit because he won the title twice, and that was Val Venis. He lost the title to Val Venis, and that was Val Venis' second reign. So, Rikishi, I really have nothing to say. It was only a 14-day title reign. But I don't remember his title reign at all. So, Rikishi, Val 2, comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is a man who is in WWE right now in some capacity. He's actually down at NXT down in Orlando. And he only won the Intercontinental Championship once. It was only one time when he won it. When he did win it, you know, it was about a month. And he won on SmackDown, lost it on Monday Night Raw. And, yeah, I don't know what to say. Became for the title. Albert. Prince Albert. Tensai. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call him. Whatever you want to call him. He comes in on the top 10 most forgetful IC champions of all time because Albert? Really? I lukewarm remember that title reign. I lukewarm remember the title reign. Obviously, he wasn't getting over. He wasn't getting over if he was only champion for 27 days. He was not getting over at all. And at this point, this is back in 2001. So, this was the, this was pretty much the summer of 2001. Do you remember what storyline was going on in the summer of 2001? Oh, yeah, that's right. The Invasion storyline. So, you had double the titles. You had double the champions. And you had double the forgetfulness, pretty much. I could go through the WCW championship reigns, tag team championship reigns in this time period here after WCW closes down, and we go through some of those fucking champions. So there's gonna be a couple in there. I'm like, they were champion? Like that's how bad it was during this storyline. The Invasion storyline was the most misutilized storyline in the history of professional wrestling. This is at the very beginning of the storyline because this was on June 26, 2001. So I believe the Invasion pay-per-view just happened or it was about to come up. But be that as it may, Albert, Prince Albert, Lord Tensai, goddammit, comes in at number 7 here. Coming in at number 6 is a title reign that I personally remember, but I'm going to put him on the list because I don't think everybody else remembers. Because I loved, and my very first pay-per-view ever that I watched as a kid was the 1992 Royal Rumble. And I know that Royal Rumble from back to fourth to back. You know what I mean? You know, I remember the opening match of the Oriental Express and the new foundation of Owen Hart and Jim Neidhart. I remember, unfortunately, the Bushwhackers versus Beverly Brothers. I remember the tag team title match between the Legion of Doom and the Natural Disasters. Of course, I remember the 1992 Royal Rumble match. But this match right here, I do remember, of course, but I don't think everybody else remembers. And that was the Intercontinental Championship match between then champion, the Mountie, who is number 6 on our countdown here this week, the Mountie, and Roddy Piper. Storyline going into this match was the Mountie won the Intercontinental Championship from Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart was kayfabe, injured or whatever the hell happened. So it was a kayfabe injury. Kayfabe injury, or was sick. It was something of that nature. I think it was because he was sick. I think that's where we're going with. He was sick. But the Mountie only had the title for 2 days. Only had the title for 2 days. Because he lost it to Roddy Piper at the 1992 Royal Rumble. And obviously, I mean, you can clearly see it that WWE was going into WrestleMania. You know what I mean? It was a couple months, going into WrestleMania, about a little bit under 3 months away. And they wanted to put a match against Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. But you couldn't really build it up as, face versus face, because they weren't really doing face versus face at the time. They wanted to get the title off the Mountie and put it on Piper, because they didn't want Piper to beat Hart for the title. They wanted Hart to beat Piper for the title. So the only way to get the title on Piper is to put the Mountie in there and have a 2-day title reign so Piper could take the title off the Mountie. So, whatever, right? Whatever, the Mountie. It is all supposed to be about the Mountie, but really what it is supposed to be really the build for the feud of Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper, and to have Roddy Piper go in to WrestleMania as the Intercontinental Champion in the Hoosier Dome at WrestleMania 8. So there you go. There you fucking go. Roddy Piper and Bret Hart. That's what it was really meant for, but hell, the Mountie, right? The Mountie. 2-day title reign. 2-day title reign. Comes in at number 6. And I love the Mountie too, but you can see what clearly happened there. Command number 5. Command number 5. Hopefully I'm not losing my voice here. That's going to be bad for me streaming later. Is a man who I don't remember him as being the fucking Intercontinental Champion at all. I do not remember him being Intercontinental Champion at all. Just weird. Just weird. In the middle of 1996, you know, WWF at the time, they were trying out champions. They were trying out, you know, Goldust and, you know, and Ahmed Johnson. But this man, you know, won the title, and the title was getting vacated. You know what I mean? The title was getting vacated back and forth in 1996. There's two, you know, vacations, not vacations, but it was vacated twice, I should say. That's a more proper terminology there, during 1996. And this man, on September the 23rd, 96, won the title after defeating Farouk in a tournament final to win the vacant WWF Intercontinental Championship. Marc Mero, the Wild Man, Marc Mero. Are you serious? I don't remember this title reign. I really do not remember this title reign at all. Guess who he lost it to? Triple H. That's who he lost it to. Because I certainly didn't remember Marc Mero ever win the Intercontinental Championship. I don't. All I remember from Marc Mero was when he first came in, he did the Wild Man gimmick. He was trying to do the Johnny B. Bad thing because they couldn't do Johnny B. Bad because that's the WCW property. So they came out the Wild Man gimmick in fucking WWF. And I remember, you know, him and Sable were together. And pretty much, you know, after Triple H lost Sable, Sable became the valet of Marc Mero, and Marc Mero turned to Marvelous Marc Mero. Then after that, Sable basically squashed his career after Sable powerbombs him. Get where I'm going with that? Pretty much Marc Mero was very unforgivable during this time period. WWE was unforgivable during this time period because WCW, fucking, you know, fall of 96, NWO was too sweet, alright? It was too sweet, okay? So, Marc Mero wins the title from well, actually, he won it in a tournament and lost it to Triple H, which was Triple H's first WWF Intercontinental title reign. So, Marc Mero comes in at number 5 for me, and we're halfway on our countdown here for our top 10 most forgetful Intercontinental champions of all time. Command number 4 is a man who did win the Intercontinental Championship. And I was thinking to myself that when I was looking at it, I was like, 13 days? Like, what? I thought he had the Intercontinental Championship longer. I mean, didn't he wrestle Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania 17 for the Intercontinental Championship? Then I realized it was the European title that they were wrestling for. Remember the European title? You know, Test, I don't remember this reign. I don't remember Andrew Test Martin's title reign here. He beat Edge. On Monday Night Raw, of course. It was on Monday Night Raw. Everybody was, you know, losing titles on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. Title changes were rampant on TV back then because, hell, it was WCW versus WWF. Title changes have to happen on TV. Fuck the pay-per-views. You know, I mean, that's pretty much what it was. You know, they were just, they care more, well, actually, WCW care more about the weekly television more than what they did about the pay-per-views. WWF care about every fucking thing. So, there you go. But be that as it may, Test won the title from Edge on Monday Night Raw. Had the title for 13 days. He lost the title back to Edge. at Survivor Series. So basically, this was when. Okay, so looking at this here, this is when Test was part of the Alliance, which made no fucking sense. He joined WCW in the ECW group. Makes no fucking sense to me because this guy was a WWF guy and joined WCW. That's how bad the storyline was. You had guys like Christian and guys like Test and you know what I mean, just guys who didn't really, you know, fucking Kurt Angle. You know what I mean? I understand Stone Cold, because Stone Cold wrestled in all three, you know, in all three companies. You know what I mean? But, you know, guys like Test and you know, and fucking Christian, that didn't make no fucking sense. That made no sense whatsoever. But be that as it may, Test was your Intercontinental Champion for fucking 13 days. He lost it back to Edge at Survivor, at Survivor Series 2001. And, yeah, that's it. That's all you need to know. Test, who won the Intercontinental Championship for 13 days, comes in at number 4. And just as a forgetful title reign before Test won the Intercontinental Championship, and before Edge won the Intercontinental Championship during this time period, Edge was Intercontinental Champion, you know, back in like 1999 or 98, around there. No, probably more 99 when he won his first title reign. This guy lost his title to Edge. This guy, Intercontinental Champion, it really blew my mind. It really blew my mind. Because I remember him being a tag team champion. I remember being one of the best underrated wrestlers of all time. And that could be, I think he'd be in my top 10. You know, I mean, for misused wrestlers in history. I mean, I definitely think that this guy was definitely misused. And he didn't have a promo, but you could have had him in another division and have him wrestle and have him become a Intercontinental Champion longer than what he has. Lance fucking Storm, dude. Lance Storm was champion for 27 days. He beat Albert, which was also on our fucking list earlier, believe it or not. He beat Albert. So you go from one forgetful champion to another unforgivable champion. I'm telling you, man, this is a major storyline, man. Worst storyline ever in wrestling. Worst storyline ever in wrestling, because you could have done so much more. You could have done so much more. This should have went all the way up through, you know, WrestleMania 18. It should have went from a little bit after WrestleMania 17 all the way through WrestleMania 18. That could have been a year feud. But no, WWE wants to be WWE and fuck everything over. But Lance Storm coming in at number 3 on this list, guys. What can you say? What can you say about it? You can't really say anything about it. Lance Storm lost the title to Edge. He won the title from Albert. Edge lost the title to Christian. Then Christian lost the title back to Edge. Then Edge lost the title to Test. Then Test lost the title to Edge. So Edge had 3 title reigns from August 19th of 2001 to November 18th, 2001. He had 3 title reigns. And people like to talk about the PG era. Now, I know Attitude Era was the number 1, you know, the best wrestling era ever. I grew up during it. But I'm going to call bullshit when I see bullshit. You had 3 title reigns from Edge within a span of less than 3 months. Won the title in August, lost the title in October, won the title back in November. Go. That's pretty shitty. But we're supposed to be talking about Lance Storm. But hell, what else can we say about Lance Storm other than his title reign was shit and only 27 days? But he does come in at number 3. Into our top 2, guys. Coming in at number 2 is, I want to say kind of recent, semi-recent. Probably within the past 6 years, so it's kind of semi-recent to me. This happened, and a lot of things I'm noticing, a lot of these bad title reigns, these forgetful title reigns, are happening in the summer. This is just kind of weird, but anyway. This champion won his only singles title reign in WWE. He actually won the ECW title as well, but I'm not gonna count that shit. I'm just not going to count his ECW title reign because it was on the last night of ECW. And spoiler, that was spoiler right there. If you remember who won the ECW title in the last night of ECW on Sci-Fi, then you know who won the Intercontinental Championship here. Ezekiel Jackson from Capital Punishment. One of the worst WWE pay-per-views of all time. They had 2 that year that were fucking horrible. They had Over the Limit, which I thought was worse than Capital Punishment. Some people think I'm crazy, but that pay-per-view was way worse. Not way worse, but it was fucking atrocious. It was pretty damn bad over Capital Punishment. Yeah, he won the Intercontinental Championship from Wade Barrett in a very shit match. Ezekiel Jackson did not get over. He had a very lukewarm reception when he won the title. This guy, he had the look, of course. Couldn't talk worth a fuck. He has like the South African accent, I believe he was from. I believe he's from South Africa. It wasn't. I don't think he's not really British. It's he's either from South America or South Africa. Probably South America, I want to say. it wasn't like, but be that as it may. Horrible. Horrific. Bad. You got a guy that had a great look, and then he just fell off the face of the map afterwards. As soon as he lost the title to Cody Rhodes, his career was pretty much over after that. He started growing hair. Oh, once he grew his hair, I was like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be a jobber for the rest of his life. He grew hair. Ezekiel Jackson grew hair. Death of a career. Comes in at number 2. Coming in at number 1 is, you know, maybe you guys remember this. I'll probably say a lot of you guys probably remember this here. Probably you guys remember a lot of these here on this list, but this was pretty horrific. Pretty horrific. Just because of the fact that we didn't see anything come out of this here at all. Shane Douglas, or Dean Douglas, comes in at number 1 here. The title was forfeited by Shawn Michaels to Dean Douglas at In Your House, The Great White North. Okay, and that was In Your House 4. Okay. Basically, Razor Ramon came in the middle of the card, challenged Shane Douglas, and basically Shane Douglas lost the Intercontinental Championship right there. It didn't even last tonight. It barely lasts for 15 fucking minutes. That's how bad it was. The title was forfeited to Shane Douglas and lost out to Razor Ramon. That's why Shane Douglas is so salty today, because, you know, the Clique always had their way back in the WWF locker room. The Clique, I'm damn sick and tired of it. You know how Shane Douglas cuts a promo. Like, yeah, the bullshit stops tonight. Well, it looks like the bullshit didn't stop in that night. You know, and fucking In Your House number 4 in Canada. Terrible. Only had time for 15 minutes. That's just as bad. Well, actually, it's not as bad. Actually, the Rey Mysterio one was worse, in my opinion, because Rey Mysterio was the fucking WWF champion at the time. Or WWE champion at the time. And he lost out to Cena that very same night. Fucking embarrassing. Fucking embarrassing that happened. But be that as it may, guys. Be that as it may. Horrible. Most forgetful title reign of all time. Most forgetful title reign of all time, by far, is Shane Douglas, Dean Douglas, whatever you want to call him, because it was only 15 minutes long. It was only 15 minutes long, and it was at a pay-per-view that no one really watched, no one was really investing in as of yet, was the In Your House shows. The main event for that fucking show was the British Bulldog versus Diesel for the WWF Championship. No one remembers that fucking match. I don't at all. But be that as it may, guys, that was your top 10 most forgetful Intercontinental Championship reigns of all time. Be sure to leave your top 10 down below, and be sure to, be sure to check out the other videos on my channel as well. Do have other top 10s in a playlist right now from Venom Nation Wrestling, so definitely go check that out. Definitely check out my Raw, SmackDown, NXT reviews. Go check out what else happened. Episode 2 is coming up soon. I am working on that episode. I'm going to probably start working on the episode tomorrow over here on my side for episode 2 of What Else Happened. Go check out the Game Over podcast, again, where I talk about Jim Ross, possibly want to commentate Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. Also, as well, Jim Cornette challenges Vince Russo to a fight, and Vince Russo, I didn't talk about it in the video because it was already pre-recorded, but Vince Russo made a epic apology to Jim Cornette. So a lot of funny stuff going on in the world of professional wrestling right now, but that was actually a shoot though between Jim Cornette and Vince Russo, But guys, that's it for me. If you did like this here, be sure to leave a thumbs up on your way out, and also subscribe to the channel for daily wrestling videos here on the channel. I'll be back later for some Call of Duty streaming here, and also maybe later tonight, some Friday the 13th. But please rate, please subscribe, please drop a comment, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.